Today I want to talk about the activity log and what problem it solves and how it does it, and I'm going to show you a few examples of how it's implemented and how you use it as a developer. First of all, I have a very simple scenario here where I have Albert that has some data in the system that should be protected by GDPR. The activity log is not an attempt to do anything in the main database. It's just logging activities, and let's see why that is a problem according to GDPR compliance. Another role that operates the system is Bob, and he create, reads, and update, delete with data related to Bob in this simple example. And then we have Cat, and he is the system administrator, a guy in the sales department, someone who actually want to see who did what when. So he's the user of the log. And any time Bob does something related to Albert, and it should be logged, the problem is that you can't just copy one table from the database to the activity log and say Albert updated that. Because what Albert does is, in many cases, he's acting on an aggregation of tables, and there might also be information in the tables that is irrelevant and will just be noise to Cat, and that could be like a message queue task ID and stuff like that. That doesn't make sense to put in the log. So that's illustrated by the small docs that says aggregation filter. So the activity log could be its own database, or it could just be some fields in the database. So let's have a closer look at how this could be implemented in this scenario. Let me see if I can drag the screen like this. That worked. So in the example, we have make it a journal, a patient, a doctor, and the journal itself has some information, and this information should be GDPR compliant. So what you could notify is that the patient is a user and the doctor is a user. So if the patient gets deleted, then the journal should be deleted as well. And if the doctor gets deleted, well, what should happen? The journal should get deleted as well. But it's not our concern what happens in the database. We just want to log what's going on. So let's see. When the user, and in this case it could be Bob, or it could be somebody else, it could be the patient, acts on the journal, and information should go to the activity log. And to make it, I will start to explain this, then you can understand it. So basically there are three payloads that goes to the activity log. It's the doctor's information, and that might be filtered down to just his name or his customer ID, not customer ID, but his ID on the hospital, and the patient, some information related to the patient. That could be his bed security number and his name, and also the journal itself, what's in the journal. So that is an activity. But in accordance to be able to actually obfuscate this, it's divided into a payload, and that is a separate thing that's encrypted with an encryption key. So let's have a look at how that is organized. For each payload, it has its own encryption key, and an activity has many payloads. So each encryption key is actually related to a record. So when a record in the main database is deleted, and information go and say, now this record is deleted, and the encryption key is invalidated. It's not deleted, it's invalidated. So now you can just recreate it and see everything there. And now it's not possible to read that payload. So in this example, if let's see, the patient is deleted, and information goes and say, we're gonna delete that encryption key related to that patient, and then we can no longer read that patient's information. But what should happen to the journal? And let's look at how that is implemented. So we can look at this file and have a look at a user. Can I just remove this a little? Let's see if I can make it fit to the screencast. Forgive me just a second. We're gonna do this. Okay, now it can fit in the window, so we have that's another project. Here we go. There we go. This is the configuration file that tells the system what information to store related to the user. So we can see when a user is updated, we store the first name, last name, age, email, role, created, and we log when it's created, updated, and destroyed. But let's have a look at the journal. I just created this little project called demo. So everything regarding to journals is scoped with journal. So I also, let's go over that later. So I am, for the journal, I'm logging the title, the body, and also the state. And I also log when it's created, updated, and destroyed. I also log when it's shown, but that doesn't alter the database. So you have to do that manually. And then there are some relations, and it belongs to a doctor and a patient. And then what attributes should be logged in the activity log. But now I have set the doctor as a data owner, and I also set the patient and the data owner. And what that means is that if the doctor is deleted, the key for the demo journal is invalidated as well. And the same goes for the patient. So let's see how it looks in real life. We can have a look at it here. So let's make that smaller so it fits in the window. I think that's good enough for now. So let's go at home and we sign into the system. There has to be a signed end user, and that is the user that actually acts on, that's the actor that acts on. So we could in the activity log, it's empty now, and if I click on a user, and we say show, then it will show up in the activity log, a user was shown, the username, the actor, that's me, and when it was done, and then we have the attributes. And for the user, I also have an address, and let's go back and look at that. In this one, we can see the user. It also belongs to an address, and for the address, we log these informations. So let's go back and try our example with a journal. So we have a journal where Emily Johnson is the patient and Michael Brown is the doctor, and the title of the journal is private information and the state is pending, and we show it. So we can see basically the same thing. And now it shows up in the activity log with the three relations, the three payloads. It's the journal, one user, and another user. How it's presented is totally up to you. There's a very nice template system for that, but we can go through later on. So if we now go and say we delete the patient, what should go away? Well, Michael Brown, okay, he can stay. He hasn't left the system. But Emily, should go away, and also the journal itself. So let's try to go to the users and delete Emily. So we find her here and we delete her nicely. And then we go to the activity log and we can see a user was deleted. I did it. But we can also, if we look at the history, this was a journal we looked at before, but now it's deleted. And we can see that the actor from when I did it, but the journal itself is deleted. And the doctor is still there, but Emily is deleted. And that's the important part of it. And then there is one thing left, and that is like a corner case. But if we go back to the journal, this is the one where the patient was deleted. And this is like not what we're looking at here is not the activity log. It's actually the system that used the activity log. So if we go and look at this one, I haven't deleted in the backend. That was up to the developer of the actual backend. So if I show it will still have all the information that actually should have been deleted, but that's not the responsibility of the activity log. But what happens? Well, should this reappear in the activity log? Of course not. So if I look at the activity log, it's still there. And the reason this is possible is that it finds the key, the encryption key, but it doesn't. It's invalidated now, and it doesn't revalidate it. Actually, it can't because the encryption key itself is done. We can look at maybe we can see it like this. Go really fast and just make this window fit. That's the terminal. Let's go here and look at the There we go, and we can see the one related to the activity log and the one related to Alice. This is Alice is probably or somebody else, and this was the demo journal. So this is actually the parent key, so that's going to be Alice. I can't know. It's impossible to figure out, and it's impossible to restore this in any way. So this is the way the activity log is totally secure, and nothing is left over when you delete a record. And all this happens pretty much automatically. I can show you how I use it. So if I look at the user model, all I have to do is include loggable activities. And I have created this, that's a little twist on it. I have created this method full name. It's just the first name and the last name. And if I look at the configuration field, it has a record display name that is full name. And if you want to see that in action, we can go and look at the user. This is the user that has the full name. And if I show it, it should also show up the full name in the activity log. So that was how far I got yesterday, and I'm proud to show it, and stay tuned for more updates.